It's Bill's Never-Ending Projects. I am going to do a garden update. So I'm going to head for the garden past my 44 Farmall H, the 51 Farmall H, and the 41 Farmall H, and the 48 Farmall Cub, and the 47 Farmall Cub. And the pool and the apple tree, and the I think it's a 48 Farmall C. Okay, I don't know what you remember from the last two updates. We had an outside row we grew radishes in that we replanted with cucumbers that we spent so much time going through the weeds in the 6 rows of tomatoes that we haven't got very far with the cucumber weeding. But we were just reusing it from the radish row. We got so many radishes they got wasted. A couple cabbages, but I just watered. Let's see if I can walk down through these. There's a red pepper. We just don't have decent bell peppers this year because we bought whatever a greenhouse had left. But some of these tomatoes, I didn't think they'd ever fill up the cages, but I mean, the cages must be 3 feet high. Pretty easy to make. You just buy some wire and get one, see how, if it takes 3 feet or what to make one, and then use that pattern to keep cutting them, and then wind them around in a circle and hook them, and make a couple hooks like this and just hook them. Except you got to hook them on the next rung down, and the next rung, and the next rung, and the next. Let's see how many rungs there is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 10 spots you would have to hook the wire. And then you can tie it to a post. I mean, if you don't put a post there, they just tip over. And we had all those cages earlier where the swimming pool was. Now we put up the pool. And now we had to have those cages out of there, and we used them up, putting them on. We decided to start putting them on beans. And then the deer were reaching in the top, so she put this string on top. And the thing that we have that will pollinate is these yellow jackets. That was dangerous, but they don't monkey with me. I think the hornets kill yellow jackets. That's the only thing I'm afraid of. But so some of the tomatoes filled up the cages, some didn't. Like here's one. Here's some dwarf thing that I think somebody ate the roots off it earlier. But keep going down. I think the row is about 100 feet long. This one filled up the cage nice. Pepper plant. Cucumber. There's those onions that I plowed this, but somehow I didn't plow those under, and those were some I didn't pick from last year that grew. We're starting to get cucumbers, but we're not going to get much because we planted them on this outside row where the radishes were, and if you put cucumbers on an outside row, they eat them. animals eat them. Yeah, even down here, these cages got filled out pretty decently. So, a little different than before. Here's a sprawled out one. I put some beans and beets along these. Cucumbers. I think this was some I just planted, so these will be behind the other ones. And I wouldn't put a cage around a tomato, but they eat them on the ends. I was thinking that nobody was going to mess with my tomato plants, but this year, being such a hot, dry year, they even wanted to eat my tomato plants. So today, I guess that we're going to weed this outside row next to the... So we got 2 there, 2 rows there, about 100 feet, 2 rows there. Let's see, 2. And then there's these 2 over here. Next to the squash. That's not weeded yet, so and so all these cages we weren't going to use this year, but the animals are eating it so bad we did end up using the cages on beans and beets. I mean, I don't only care if I even get a few beets, but I want to see if any of them will grow in my garden. Watermelon. Here's a beet. It's just doesn't have a cage on it, so it's probably not going to make it. Past all these squash. There's an area I just rototilled and replanted. Usually I'll try to put some carrots in the fall when all the weeds are done. This way they have a chance. And less of a chance for animals to eat the tops off. I don't know why I would say that, but maybe because it's later in the year. Here's a watermelon. I mean, it's no bigger than my hand. Here we found a way to keep the beans from being eaten. Put them in this construction barrier stuff. I pulled out a tomato when I was weeding by mistake. I don't like to let things die, so I stuck it in there. It lived. Well, I just rototilled all that anyway to put those carrots in. I did all that work on those rototillers. Might as well use them, but the ground is so hard from the 2 inches of rain that we got. In the 4 months of this summer, or 3 months, or however you want to count it, we got a total of 2 inches, and mostly all in 1 week. And the dirt was perfectly loose for 2 months of the summer until we got that. And then I have so much clay type dirt that it makes it concrete as soon as you get 2 inches. And it's so much work for this rototiller to try to eat through that without plowing it that I'm not going to wreck my rototiller and do any more. It's just not going to get rototilled, so. Here's a watermelon that's a little bigger than my hand, bigger than the other one. So that's here's a couple pepper plants, but none of these are bell. Here's a